when the wind stops. Most people think the old wives' tale is just that, an old wives' tale. The adults say it like a joke, and kids laugh as if it is one. If you make a face when the wind changes, it will stay that way forever. Where I live, nobody jokes about it anymore. There used to be a boy who got called ugly so often he started to believe it. Kids said it every day. He figured if he was going to be picked on for his face anyway, maybe he could flip it into something funny. He started making weird faces on purpose because he hoped his classmates might finally laugh with him instead of at him. One windy afternoon after school, he saw a group of kids at the playground. He walked up behind them and waited for them to notice him. When they turned, he scrunched his nose tight and pulled his mouth into a long smile, creating a snarl that showed all his teeth. There was a cold look in his eyes that did not match the exaggerated smile. He took the features kids already made fun of and pushed them even further. They were kids from his class. He even noticed Caitlin among them, the girl he liked, whose name he had memorized from hearing the teacher call it every morning. He watched her in class sometimes, and whenever she caught him looking, she would turn and smile, and he used to think it meant she was being nice. Now he understood she had only been smiling because she was trying not to laugh in his face. He had seen her laugh with the other kids in class, and seeing her there made him hope she would laugh with him this time, instead of at him. Nobody laughed. They just told him to go away. Caitlin was the one who spoke next. She looked straight at him and said, "You're ugly." He tightened the expression until it hurt, hoping they might finally include him. Then the wind changed. It stopped suddenly, all at once. His mouth kept pulling wider until his lips cracked and the rest of his face tightened with it. His nose twisted even more and his teeth were bared like an animal about to bite. He tried to beg them for help, but only a desperate clicking of teeth came out. They thought he was doing it on purpose to scare them more. Tears welled in his eyes as he saw the truth in theirs. Nothing he did would ever make them want him there.
That was when they ran. After that, his parents kept him inside. They were frightened by the way his face looked and ashamed that anyone had ever seen it. They could not stand being near him. They spoke about him in the next room, discussing how they could get rid of him. The guilt was there, but not strong enough for them to help him. Eventually, they locked him in his bedroom because avoiding him was easier than facing what he had become. They even began whispering to each other about waiting until he slept and dragging him outside, planning to bolt the doors and refuse to let him back in. He cried for days through that painful smile, and every time he tried to speak, the helpless clicking of his teeth echoed through the house. They finally opened the door, not because they cared, but because they could not stand hearing him anymore. His mother told him she had something outside that would help him, something that would make his face go back to normal. He tried to ask what it was, clicking desperately, and she pretended not to hear him. He followed her anyway, still smiling against his will. He wanted so badly to believe her. The moment he stepped outside, she slammed the door shut and locked it. He clicked at the locked door until his teeth hurt, but nobody opened it. The kids had run from him. The parents did not want him back. So he walked into the woods. Nobody went after him. A week later, his parents were found dead in the house. Their faces were unrecognizable. Now when the wind shuts off without warning, he returns. He watches whoever is closest. Some try to act brave and pull twisted expressions back at him, their face locks in whatever shape they make. A girl once began crying when the wind stopped. He walked up beside her and wiped her tears like someone comforting a friend. She froze with fear as his hands gripped her cheeks and pulled the corners of her mouth downward, twisting her face into something depressed and monstrous before dragging her into the woods. If the world ever goes quiet and the wind disappears, do not pull a face. If you already have, do not stay still. I cannot tell you exactly what happens when you run. All I know is he follows. He never stops. I have been running from him ever since.